So, hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to just run through a few things here. Let's say, if you, like I said, if you were here with us last hour, on the last one, let's look a little bit like it. Parent survey is in. Speak to that a little bit. It reads much better than it did last year. Our net promoter score was virtually the same, about 51. It's a very good number, by the way, although I do want that number to rise a little bit. It is a nationally normed survey, which means it's a valid survey. We can speak to the fact that it tells us something. On this particular survey, any score above 0, any positive score is considered a good score. The national average for schools on this particular survey is 40 net promoter. So 51 is a good score. I'd still like it to creep a little closer to 70. That might take a little time, but I would like it to be up around those numbers. The thing that stands out to me probably the most on the survey is the survey just reads better. Last year's survey was still lots of concerns, lots of more comments that probably leaned to be negative comments. And so it was just a little tougher read last year. This year, it just doesn't read that way. Folks realize we've made changes. We've heard y'all. We've heard our families. We've made some changes. We'll continue to make some more changes. We have some other things planned. So the principals have had it about 2 weeks, maybe 3. Then it was released to the remainder of our leadership team today. And then we will go at it for probably a couple of meetings just to pull out what we're still hearing our families, good and bad, say the most, and we'll try to adjust from there. You probably participated in a survey that came out last week about distance learning. So I think that's still open. Laura, I said that I didn't send it out, so Stephanie sent it out for me.
Yeah,
But
Stephanie sent it out.
Yeah, if that's still open and you've not taken that distance learning survey, I would appreciate you doing that for me. All my notes are down, so I'm not texting. I'm actually just reading my notes. Okay, so if you've not completed that survey, if you would do that, I appreciate it. We're also surveying our 5th through 12th grade students and also our faculty, just trying to gain some information about the last 8 weeks. I'm really excited about our mission statement being complete. Board worked on that for about the last 2 months. And before that, it went through several committees. Church worked through it as well. So very excited about that. From that will come our vision statement and our core values, the things we want to operate by. So that process will not take 18 months. We'll do that pretty quickly. Once we get those things done, we want that to be the culture of our school. Some of this we're already doing. It's not like we're rewriting anything. There will be some additions, obviously, but in general, it's just putting it to paper to make sure we're doing what we say we do. So that's why that's just a good process, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You will get another survey from me probably Friday, maybe Saturday, that just talks about opening school. So let me come back to that in a minute because I just wrote it in the wrong order here. I'll come back to that in a minute. Graduation was on Saturday. We chose to go ahead and push forward with that so we could celebrate our seniors who really have done a great job. And so what I'd like to encourage you to do, if you have not watched graduation, it's 42 minutes long. It's not very long. And if you don't want to watch all of the other parts of it, if you would just fast forward, you can find it on our website. If you'll fast forward to our valedictorian speech, I think you will understand why you're spending the money you spend to put your child in a Christian school every year. It was inspirational, it was timely, but it was godly. I mean, I just don't know another way to say it. He just hit the mark well. So if you have not taken time to watch graduation, I just highly encourage you to do it. Speaking of the senior class, excuse me one second. The seniors were accepted into 50 universities from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Texas to Ohio. True to nature, this was also very true for my time at CAK as well. West Knoxville students tend to stay with about a 5-hour radius of Knoxville. I don't know why that's true, but in general they do. This group did the same this year. This group senior class did the same. About 5 hours is probably pretty true. But the list of students that of colleges that our students were accepted into compares with anybody. It's a very good list of colleges and universities, and so we're very pleased with that. That group of seniors also was awarded, and the number's rising a little bit because we always get updated as we go on through the summer, but just over $3.2 million worth of scholarship money, which averages out to about 90,000 a piece. Now, obviously, some of them didn't get 90,000, but it's a nice number to throw around, right? You can do a lot of things with numbers, but it is a good number. So one of the things that, we look to when we think about our senior class is, did they get into the college of their first choice? And did they get did they get some assistance? And this group certainly did both. So that's exciting for us as well. What else about the senior class? So when I arrived on campus, July of 18, there was just a lot of buzz. And even in last year's parent survey, there was some conversation about this, was, hey, our concern is our middle school, Concord's middle school, preparing students for high school? And then secondly, is high school preparing our student for collegiate level work? And I think this class is yes. The answer is yes. It speaks to that highly. And I would even say that was true for last year's class as well. Their test scores are compare with anyone's nationally. Our top 10% and even our top 25% compare with anyone's locally. So that speaks to a couple of things. It speaks to the fact that we have good students, and it speaks that our high school faculty and our middle school faculty are doing what they need to do. So we're probably not talking enough about that, and we're going to talk some more about that. Just, again, I think for me the answer is unequivocally yes. We're doing what we need to do to prepare our kids for the next level. Survey. So we will hopefully it needs to have just 1 or 2 more proofreads. We're going to send out a survey to families to just talk about the reopening of school. So let me say this: we're planning to reopen school on August 13th as normal, but we have to be prepared for some things to happen in case it does. So we have 2 task force. The task force that's myself and the principals. We started our conversations last week, Friday, and the task force is going to look at the big picture. Started on Monday. It has parents, critical staff, faculty, and a few other folks on it that are going to just bring to us different options depending on what happens. We're hoping there's not going to be a spike, but everything we're reading is at least be prepared if there is one, if there's a spike. The summer months are going to help us. Heat's going to help us. I think we all believe that. We start Kids Connect and preschool on June 1st. They will give us a little bit of running start. So that I'm excited for them to start so we can see how well they practice the social distancing things that we're going to put in place. The survey will speak to some of that, though. What do our parents, what do our families, what are they expecting when we start back? So we need to hear back from you on this. So we appreciate you guys when you get that. It's only going to be about 12 questions. We're trying to keep it very short to just get a good feel for what you guys are comfortable with. I went through that much faster than I did last hour. That's probably because I know I have a 7:30 meeting. So to take questions, let's do this. There's only about 18 of us on here. Oh, let me do this first. Ms. Lede, anything you want to say to us?
We missed the kids for sure. That's the main thing. It was really great to see so many of you guys on Tuesday. Yes, that was just yesterday. But at the book drop off for elementary, it was really good to see everybody and do a little elbow bump and that kind of thing. And I will admit there were a few hugs that we snuck in there, but anyway, it was good. We are busy. Miss Littleton and I are busy already, just kind of wrapping up this school year. The teachers have been working hard this week to get all their checklists done, inventories done. They will finish up on Friday, and Tuesday, Miss Littleton and I will already be ready to jump on board, starting planning for next year with curriculum orders and scheduling, um, class list, all of those different things. We're excited. It's a lot of good stuff going on. And I've said this every meeting. I just encourage you guys to pray along with us that we start school normally with no problems, because that's what we all really want to do. We miss the personal touch that we have when we have kids in our classroom. That relationship, that relational part is not as easy through a computer screen. So we really, really want to get back to school, and ask that you pray with us that that can happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be a busy summer.
Ms. Karen, anything?
I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you to all of you who made the online learning work, and just for staying in there and being flexible. And we've just heard great things from you, and we just want to thank you for that. And we're really looking forward to next year. Never been more excited to be part of the staff at CCS.
Correct. No joke about that. So let me speak to that. I know those of you who joined me on the other meetings yesterday and earlier heard me speak to Amanda Baldwin. She's not on here, but Amanda Baldwin is the hero of this. I mean, the families and everybody had to do their part, and the faculty had to do their part, and the administration had to do their part. But Amanda Baldwin is the CCS staff member who made online learning work, and there's no discussion, there's no question about that. On March 1st, when she and I hit the ground, just had a really quick conversation that we had wind that there was going to be some disruption in school. We had no idea at that time what that might look like, but she had really about 3 weeks to get our faculty prepared, and she pulled it off. And was it perfect? No, nobody would tell you it was perfect. But we got better at it each week. I do believe that to be the case based on my emails that I received. And she was certainly the hamster on the wheel. She kept it running. There's no question about that. So she was the rock star. That's, I guess, the best way to explain it. One question here, is there medical personnel on the task force? And the answer is they'll be on the second round. They're not on the first round. Okay. So what we did was, the information we have from the CDC and from other reputable organizations that are making plans for these schools is that, you know, you have 4 or 5 scenarios coming down the line. So as most of you know, Lorna Keaton, who has been at Children's Hospital as a registered nurse and as running one of their palliative care units for the last 7 or 8 years, is now in raising money for Children's, is now our director of annual fund. She is 2 doors down that way, or 3 doors down that way behind me. She will be one of the folks who reviews that docket. She is still in close contact with the folks at Children's. Children's has the most up-to-date information there is. There's no question about that. She can pick up the phone and she can get any information we need in 30 seconds. So I don't want to get Dr. Johnson in trouble because his wife happens to be on here, but Dr. Johnson will also look at that. Not like he doesn't have enough to do, but obviously being a CCS board member, he will also review that document for us. So there'll be those 2 medical folks for sure. Okay. Does that answer the question? We will continue, as soon as we get the plan approved, we will put it on our website so everybody can read it. One of the concerns, I will say this, I have a few minutes. One of the concerns from the last meeting from a couple of the parents were, we don't want school to be a prison. We don't want it to where the kids come in and they just feel like they've come to a prison. We don't either. That is not where we're at. That's not our goal. But at the same time, there probably are a few small things we can do. You would drop off and pick up, and how we treat hallways, how we treat big group meetings. How we do lunch can look a little differently. So some things that we can just take some precautions till we really know what happens when we all get back together. Fortunately, children have almost virtually escaped this, not completely, but they have. So that helps a little bit. But I mean, we do have faculty that have pre-existing conditions and maybe approaching 60 like myself, that we have, getting up there a little bit. So, we do need to take some necessary precautions. So that's our goal. Our goal will be to take the necessary steps we need to take and not make this feel like a prison. And that's our goal. Google Classroom and the other formats really did us a favor when they let us all operate for free for the last 7 or 8 weeks. So the answer is yes, there's a cost to it, but that's all being considered with the task force. Lee, I'll let you hop in here.
Yeah, one of the things, Tony, that if you guys will remember early on, oh, hi, Tony. Early on, when we first started Zoom, there was a lot of concerns. Zoom was really not used by school children, and there was a lot of concerns about Zoom bombing and the safety aspect of things happening on Zooms. They didn't have great safeguards in place. And so at the advice of Ms. Baldwin early on, she said recorded sessions will help keep the kids safe from people jumping on. And we were fortunate, we didn't have any of those situations that I'm aware of in elementary or middle where, random people came on. But I know across, the state of Tennessee, there was a lot of that going on where kids were sharing passwords to get in meetings and inappropriate things were happening. So, that was how we really trained the teachers early, was to say, do mostly recorded things for safety. What we've now figured out, and Zoom figured out, is they've put in a ton of safety measures, and we would feel much more comfortable now moving forward with more live sessions.
One of the things we're looking at, let's say, whatever forces us to do, that's what I'm about to say, whatever forces us to get there, right, would be something like this. We bring in half the school on Monday and Wednesday, we bring in the other half on Tuesday and Thursday, and then on Friday is just a strictly tutoring format. So if you need tutoring, you'd come. I say that to say this, we are looking at every possible scenario to make sure we get in front of your child as much as possible. How do we do all this going forward? For sure, it's all on the table. But even like, there was it last year, or maybe my last year at CAK, I don't remember, where we were out like 7 of 10 days with the flu. I think that probably was my last year at CAK. I mean, we just lost those days. I mean, we just lost them. So that something like that would work perfectly. So, all right, guys. Anything else? I need to jump off, but I will wait. They wait, but I do need to jump off. So, anything else we can answer? Okay, guys, we'll do some more Zoom calls this summer. Try to keep you informed of what's going on. As soon as we have our plan, it'll be on our website so you can read it. Our Knox County is aiming for the middle of June. We're aiming for about the same time frame, about the middle of June. It's an enormous task. What they're looking at, the information they're looking at, is enormous. It's just enormous. So it's like probably writing your dissertation. It's enormous. So they've got plenty of work. I saw their calendar for work today, and it was about 15 to 20 hours just next week alone on this thing. So a lot of work going on there. All right, guys, we appreciate your time. Have a great summer. We miss your kids. We're praying for you guys, and we hope you have a wonderful summer.